Hello, I'm Christina with the Turned Leg, and this is George in his absolute favorite spot. Tomorrow, my daughter and I are going to be leaving super early. We're going on a road trip. We're going to go thrifting to the lower Michigan. We're going to go to East Tawas and Oscoda area, and we might even hit some antique stores. So join us. And don't worry, George is going to have a sitter for the day, so he'll be just fine. We left bright and early, even before the sun had risen, because we wanted to get to the stores when they opened, and we started our drive. Now, this might sound crazy to some of you, but for us, this is a really fun adventure. We even had plans to jump in the lake. And a few hours later, we could already see Lake Huron. It was shaping up to be a beautiful day. Our first stop was a Goodwill in Oscoda, Michigan. Also, check the description box below to see all of the locations and addresses that we visited today in case you're planning a road trip too. Really excited to see what I could find. Thrift stores near me haven't had too many things on the shelves. This Afghan was the first thing I spotted. Really pretty piece, only $3.99. I figured that was a good deal. Already had a lot, so I decided to keep looking to see what else was going to catch my eye. And immediately, this mid-century serving piece was going to go home with me. It was only $3. Stay tuned to the end to see what else I picked up. Also, always on the look for copper. This was a newer piece, so I decided to leave it, but still a really good price. I also spotted this little bean pot or crock, but it had a lot of wear. I decided to leave it. Loved these country dishes, didn't pick them up, but I think the whole 80s country vibe is making a comeback. What do you think? And today I am really looking for items to restock my vintage and antique booth at Plaza Antiques and Collectibles Mall in Lincoln Park, Michigan. And it's really just about finding things that you like and pieces that are unique. Because this is a beach town, you're going to see a lot of beach items here that you might not find near you. These were hand-painted saucers, really pretty, and there was a lot of furniture in the furniture area. So of course, I had to go look and see what I could find. But on the way, I passed one of the carts and they were putting out Christmas items. Now, I decided to leave these cute little Santa mice at the store. I'm kind of regretting it. Did I make a mistake? Let me know. $3 each, hand-painted pottery, but I just wasn't feeling it. So I left them and I continued looking. I'm always on the hunt. If you follow my channel, you know, for vintage Christmas items. And I thought the prices here were really good. Okay, these guys are not vintage Christmas, but for some reason, I was in love. These are hedgehogs with ho-ho hats. So $2 for the set. They were coming home with me. Didn't see any vintage books, so I continued on to furniture and it was stocked. There were some unique pieces. This rocker had seen better days. It was $6, but it needed a lot of work. I loved this cabinet piece. I have no idea what it was used for, but it was a cool price and I loved the look of it. Of course, I decided to leave it. Also, lots of little apothecary jars, and this chair was so cute, like a bedroom chair, $5. Quite a stain, though, on the seat. The pitchers and bowls were a good price. I already had ironstone ones, so I passed on these, but what a deal. And they were both very pretty. I just have to kind of consider the space. I didn't have enough space for something this large right now. I didn't get the best picture, but this sofa was beautiful. It would just need to be reupholstered. Almost wanted to have a cottage up north just to fix up some of these pieces. That table, rough shape, but it's a style I always pick up when I find it in good condition. And then this was the surprise. I almost passed this one up, so glad I brought it home with me. Next stop was the Salvation Army in East Tawas, and we were on the water, so we saw fish flies. My daughter is obsessed. She loves fish flies, very excited to see them. Probably one of the only people who is. Walking into the store, I saw some higher prices, but I love going through Salvation Armies. Everything is sorted by color, and I just find it so relaxing. And as I was heading to the back, I also passed linen, so I had to take a look. I don't know why I keep looking. I do have quite a few crocheted blankets for fall, but I can't pass them up. This one was super pretty too. Once again, I was seeing good prices. I loved the colors on this. You know, I am a huge fan of color. there wasn't much furniture. So it was on to home goods, glassware, knickknacks, lots of glassware, and quite a few that were vintage. I loved these. I couldn't find any markings on them. If you have more information, comment down below. This canister was cute. I already have the set in my booth, but check this out. I made it for my mom in the 90s. So I don't know if that's true or not, but sometimes handwritten notes just get me. Also spotted some antiques, but this jug had a big chunk out of it, so I decided to leave it. Time to keep looking, and I'm always looking for cool vintage kitchen items. This was a neat find. It was a page from, I think, a recipe or a cookbook, and it showed you how to use all of the spices in dishes. Kind of neat piece. I think someone did a really good job on it. It was old, but I did decide to leave it. And this set was cool, but not for the price that they were asking. $25 decided to pass. This pretty creamer, it was ironstone, and I loved this. Ready for an Avon day. What a cute little bunny. We did take a little break and jump into Lake Huron, but we didn't get any pictures. It was so much fun to just cool off. Now we're in downtown East Tawas, and a cool site is behind the Ben Franklin. This store is so much fun and a must if you are in East Tawas. Remember, we're trying to jam-pack our adventure all into one day, so we really had to keep moving. We grabbed a quick bite to eat in East Tawas and continued on. The next stop were some antique shops that were right on the way into Tawas, just south of the main area. One of the trends I noticed is a lot of the dealers are using old crates. Now, I love them, use them all the time, but people were using them a whole bunch of different ways, whether from books to do full displays. And these dealers stacked their booths all the way up to the top. It wasn't just, eye level and stop, which is a really good idea. I also loved how they did great vignettes in every little cubby or crate that you found. It was just a good reminder that you don't have to have expensive display pieces to have a beautiful booth. Doilies were everywhere too, and this was an excellent use of them to make the clear glass items really pop in this darker hutch. I also spotted a bag wall on a corkboard. What a good idea. And I loved this jewelry organizer to use to sell jewelry. Of course, there are patriotic displays, which don't have to be flags. I mean, you can just use red, white, and blue colors to get your message across. They really did a beautiful job here. And it's always important to kind of think about a little bit of humor in your booth. I loved the elephant herd sign. There was also a great attention getter in this booth with the totem pole. It got you inside, and there was just such a story being told in this booth. I really enjoyed walking through. One, it is totally stacked. They're using the crates. They're filling every area with tons of eye candy, items at all different levels. And it was just a whole bunch of neat, fun things. And what's nice about this area is there are two other antique and vintage stores right next door. So we walked right next door into the next location, and there was once again so much to see. Nice little patriotic display in the window. Upon entering this store, I was just overwhelmed by the beautiful displays. I walked in the door and people couldn't get past me for a while because I was just standing and admiring. The dealers do a beautiful job. It might look like a lot initially, but there is a lot of thought about every single item and where it is placed. See what I mean about so much, but it's grouped. It's grouped by Coca-Cola items. It's grouped by color. It's grouped by objects. So you really can find what you're looking for. And once again, they are stacking things all the way to the ceiling. I love how they did their shelving. It's just everything is really pleasing to the eye. And the use of the ladder is always a good one for additional display. And I just loved how even in small areas, every booth really drew you in. There were end caps, there were little shelving units or items facing out that get you excited, and then you want to go in and explore. Here they're also using shelving, which you know I love. If you haven't seen my video where I've installed shelving pretty much all over my booth, you can check out this video here. But I loved, look at the use of height, the different items. I see pyramid display, great pieces for display. And oh my goodness, just so much to see. Definitely feeling the cabin vibes here. This is a beach community where a lot of people have cabins, and they could so easily find items for their cabin or even to take home with them too. So it was so much fun to look around and see what we could discover. There was also a great jewelry booth. I loved using these see-through drawers that were well labeled for displaying their jewelry. They also had lots of jewelry in jars and cool items at all different levels. And I spotted more cubby displays. And I just loved how each cubby told a slightly different story. They were a really fun little display that you could look at. I almost want to get cubbies for my own booth and do some of this. I have a few, but it was so much fun to look at each and every one. And of course, I spotted a few more patriotic displays too. They really did a beautiful job. And the next store, I don't think had dealers. I think it was just one owner. But guess what we found again? Patriotic, of course, and more cubbies. How fun is this? The last place we tried to hit was the St. Vincent de Paul in Oscoda. It has two buildings. This building houses furniture. I got a quick look inside and then I was alerted to the fact that the store was closing. But there's a lot of furniture in here at really good prices. I've gotten quite a few over the years. If you want to check out a video where I visited this store a while back, I'll put a link here. The other building across the way is a typical thrift store with clothing, books, and home goods. But one good thing out of this visit was my daughter did get to rescue this butterfly, which she found on the ground, and she moved it to a safer location. On our way home, we visited Wilson's Cheese Shop in Peconic. I highly recommend a visit. So many goodies to pick up, meats, cheeses, and don't forget to try the squeaky cheese. Yep, it's really good and one of my favorites. We are back from all of our travels, and I'm really excited to show you what we found. Besides the adventure that you saw, we also hit a church sale that we couldn't film in. So some of the items are from that. Stay tuned to the end, and I'm going to tell you how much I spent at the church sale. If you don't see the prices popping up on the screen that I paid, that's because it came from the church sale, but it was a really good sale. There were things I just could not pass up. So let's take a look at what I found. Thank you guys so much for joining me. It's always fun to go thrifting when you're on vacation, to see new locations. I'm also going to be going to some other locations around Michigan. Many of you have told me where I need to visit next, so look for those videos coming soon. Thank you, as always, for watching. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so. It really helps my channel, and it doesn't cost a thing. Now get out there to salvage, repurpose, and create.